Medicinal poop. Back in 1500 BC, poop medicine was actually a thing. Ancient Egyptians believed animal dung had magical healing powers. According to the Ebers papyrus, a fancy old medical scroll by the Egyptians, people used dog, gazelle, and even donkey poop to treat wounds and ward off evil spirits. And if that wasn't weird enough, some women even inserted crocodile poop as birth control. Skull hole drilling. Ever had a migraine so bad you thought, you know what? A hole in my head might actually help. Well, our ancestors took that way too seriously. For thousands of years, people believed drilling a hole in your skull, a fun little procedure called trepanation, could cure headaches, seizures, and other brain issues. Shockingly, many survived, even though it left their brain basically on display like an art exhibit. This bizarre brain surgery dates back 7,000 years and was practiced all over the world. And if you think that's ancient history, guess what? People were still doing this in the early 1900s. Tapeworm diet. Back in the Victorian era, staying slim wasn't just about corsets and fancy hats. It also meant trying some pretty disgusting diet trends, like the tapeworm diet. Women swallowed tapeworm egg pills, hoping the worms would grow in their stomachs and eat their food for them. The idea? Eat whatever you want, while the worm eats most of it for you. Side effects included malnutrition, stomach pain, diarrhea, nausea, infections, anemia, and fevers. And believe it or not, this terrifying diet still exists today. Yep, some people actually buy tapeworms from sketchy websites and shady clinics, thinking it's a secret weight loss trick. Corpse medicine. Wait, a cocktail with a human skull garnish? Yep, that actually happened. A long time ago, people believed eating human remains could heal them. From ancient Romans to King Charles II of England, many thought flesh, bones, and blood had medicinal powers. Egyptian mummies were often stolen and ground into medicine. Mouse paste. Have a cough, a toothache, or some mysterious illness? Try mouse paste. That's right. The ancient Egyptians believed that a paste made from dead mice could cure various ailments. Meanwhile, in England during the late 1500s, people had a different and equally bizarre idea for getting rid of warts. They cut mice in half and placed them directly on the affected area, a tooth for an eye. Believe it or not, there's a real treatment for corneal blindness that involves using a tooth to restore vision. It was first documented in 1963, and yes, it's still performed today. Here's how it works. A patient's tooth is extracted, and a tiny lens is inserted into a hole drilled into it. But the wildest part? The tooth is sewn into the cheek so it can develop a blood supply before being implanted into the eye. Sounds like sci-fi, but this incredible procedure actually works. Doctors Shannon Weber and Greg Maloney have successfully performed this sight-saving surgery at Sydney Eye Hospital in Australia, giving patients a second chance at vision. Hemiglossectomy. Back in the 1840s, Prussian surgeon J.F. Diefenbach came up with a brutal cure for stuttering, the hemiglossectomy. His solution? Chop off part of the tongue. And just to make things worse, this barbaric procedure was done without anesthesia. Diefenbach genuinely believed this would stop vocal cord spasms and cure stuttering. Spoiler alert, it didn't. Thankfully, modern speech therapy has come a long way. Today, organizations like the American Speech Language Hearing Association offer actual help for people with speech disorders, no tongue removal required. Gladiator sweat as a beauty treatment. The Romans took their beauty routines to a whole new level. They believed that gladiator sweat had magical anti-aging and aphrodisiac properties. Wealthy women eagerly collected sweat from victorious fighters, using it in perfumes and skincare treatments. Some even drank it, hoping to absorb the warrior's strength and charm. Of course, modern science tells us that sweat is just sweat, but back then, it was bottled and sold as a high-end beauty product, making it one of the strangest skincare trends in history. Sipping urine. Believe it or not, ancient Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans actually drank their own pee, thinking it was some kind of magical health potion. And they weren't alone. Chinese texts also hyped up its so-called healing powers. But wait, it gets even weirder. Urine wasn't just for medicine. It was also used to do laundry and even whiten teeth. Yep, some people gargled pee in hopes of a brighter smile. Bloodletting. Back in the day, doctors thought the secret to good health was draining your blood. Dating back to around 460 to 370 BC, this bizarre practice was used by Egyptians, Greeks, Arabs, Asians, and eventually Europeans to balance the body's four fluids: blood, phlegm, black bile, and yellow bile. Feeling sick? Fever? Migraine? The solution? Just lose some blood. Even George Washington may have fallen victim to this treatment in 1799. Eventually, science caught up, and bloodletting was, thankfully, phased out. Soothing syrup. In the 19th century, parents were encouraged to soothe fussy babies with soothing syrup, a potent mixture of codeine, opium, and even heroin. Marketed as a miracle cure for everything from teething pain to colic, it promised to calm infants and give exhausted mothers a much-needed break. The syrup was created by a nurse and later manufactured by two druggists from Bangor, Maine in the mid-19th centuries. Despite growing concerns about addiction and safety, the product remained on the market for decades, with many parents unaware of the dangerous ingredients. It wasn't until the 1930s that soothing syrup was finally pulled from shelves after the risks became undeniable. Maggots. Maggots have been used to treat infected wounds since before the Civil War, and surprisingly, this method is still used today. Maggots only eat dead tissue, leaving healthy tissue untouched, which helps wounds heal faster and reduces the risk of infection. This natural treatment works so well that modern doctors sometimes turn to maggots when antibiotics fail. Fart sniffing. Desperate times call for desperate measures, right? Well, during the Black Death in the 1600s, things got really desperate. Doctors actually believed that sniffing farts could protect you from the plague. Experts claimed that inhaling potent gas would somehow counteract the plague. So, people started collecting farts in jars. Imagine that family heirloom. Vaginal incense. Back in ancient Egypt, people used some pretty strange treatments for vaginal issues. One of them was inserting incense. Believe it or not, they also used onions to check for pregnancy. If a woman's breath smelled like onions in the morning, they assumed she was pregnant.